Hey, we are back for the second of our 5-Minute Theology. Pastor Rick, Pastor Mac at First Baptist Church. And today we have a little bit of a more fun question. Our first one about babies dying and going to heaven was a little bit heavy to start with, but this one is a more fun question. Why doesn't the Bible address dinosaurs? Were there really dinosaurs in the Bible, and why does the Bible talk about them? And we know that they existed because we have all these great collections of fossils and museums and things like that, but there's two possible reasons why we don't see the word dinosaurs in the Bible. And I'm going to throw this over to Pastor Matt because he's got a good, interesting fact for you.
I found a fun fact about it. So, back in 1842, Sir Richard Owen, I think that was the guy's name, actually that's when he created the word dinosaur. So prior to that time, the word dinosaur didn't even exist. So that's probably one of the reasons why we don't see it in scripture there. So I thought that was kind of a cool fact when I was studying for this too.
Yeah, even though, many of our translations of the Bible came in the 1800s, we know that they didn't have it back then. And the word dinosaur, he defined as a terrible, powerful, wondrous lizard. And so interchangeably in science after 1842, the word dragon and dinosaur was often used to describe the same thing. And so now that we have this idea that we're not going to find the word dinosaur in the Bible, let's look at scripture though and see if we can find something that comes close to being that. Genesis chapter 1 verse 21 says, God created great sea creatures. And the word that is used, the Hebrew word for great sea creature, can also mean dragon, serpent, or even sea monster. And so without a word like dinosaur, we can see how this could very well conjure up this image of what we picture dinosaurs to be. In the book of Job, we find a similar word, and in chapter 40, verse 15, it talks about a behemoth. And it's a hard word to decipher. There's no clear leading in it either. Some say it refers to a hippopotamus. But we also know that it could refer to dinosaur, like a diplodocus, which was a large vegetation-eating creature, or maybe even a brachiosaurus, which was another vegetation-eating beast that had to spend some of its time in water to support its great body weight. And so if we think again that the word didn't come into existence till 1842, as Pastor Mac said, the word brachiosaurus didn't even come into play until 1903. So
I'm just impressed that you were reading off the dinosaurs' names properly. So that was pretty good.
Well, the thing is, I don't know if they are.
Well, okay, that's all right.
Yeah, so if you know the correct pronunciation, feel free to get a hold of us when you send in your next question for 5-Minute Theology. In chapter 41 of Job, we find the word Leviathan. They ask, can you catch Leviathan with a hook or put a noose around its jaw? Can you tie it with a rope through the noose or pierce its jaw with a spike? And Leviathan is defined as a sea monster, dragon, large aquatic animal, represented maybe even by the dinosaur known as Plesiosaurus, which was again a marine-based dinosaur. Think Loch Ness Monster, and you get an idea of what that could be. And throughout Scripture we find, in Isaiah chapter 27, we find the words Leviathan and dragon referring to the same beast. Again, dinosaur could also mean a dragon or wondrous beast. In Hebrew, the Hebrew word for what we're talking about is used nearly 30 times in the Old Testament. So we also know that every ancient civilization has some kind of depiction of dinosaur-like creatures in their artwork. In South America, in cave dwellings, they've seen like pictures that would resemble what we call Diplodocus or Triceratops, or even something similar to T-Rex. The Babylonians, the Mayans also have pictures that have been drawn, their artwork that shows creatures that look like dinosaurs. So when we think of it, there's all this allusion to dinosaurs being in the Bible. Now, the other reason that we may not see dinosaurs in the Bible can also depend on your worldview of creation story. If you are a person that believes in a young earth, then you see that what we've talked about very well can fit your idea of why there were no dinosaurs. But there are those people that believe the dinosaurs are to be millions of years old. And if that's the case, then dinosaurs most likely faded away or became extinct before man was even on the scene. So they would have not known anything about what we're doing. Dinosaur fossils really didn't become a big thing until the 1800s. And so there wouldn't have been any knowledge of those kind of things. So, did dinosaurs exist?
I mean, yeah. I mean, it seems like it. I mean, when you start seeing some of these things in scriptures, at least there was some sort of knowledge of something with it here that we're seeing in scripture.
Some kind of beast.
Yeah.
And it's hard to knock. Science and the scripture can be true because we do again have all these fossils in the museums that show that there was some kind of beast. Are they thousands of years old or millions of years old? You need to dig into your scripture and come up with your own answer as to the age of the earth. Hey, we look forward to seeing you again next time. Pastor Mac and Pastor Rick, and we look forward to seeing you for our next 5-minute theology.